How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. How do we get some of the best gains for the next bull run? I want to talk about that here today. Talk about 5 coins that I bought recently. Keep in mind, I only have maybe 8 or 9 different coins in my portfolio. This is going to include 5 of them. And might not be right for everyone. You have to do your own research. But I think these cryptos will do extremely well. So if you don't mind, please hit subscribe underneath the video. Hit that bell icon as well so you can see future videos as soon as I post them. Also, there are links underneath the video to Margex and to Blowfin. You can trade some of these cryptos on those exchanges. There's no KYC, there's no VPN. You can sign up today, deposit some money. We're running a campaign already on Blowfin to give you some big prizes, USDT included. That's a great way of starting to get some extra capital to invest in these. There's also, like I said, a link to Margex underneath there too. When you use these links, you get discounts on trading fees, you get deposit bonuses. Now, where are we in the market? Well, we are at kind of a crazy time where we have whales stacking heavily. I mean, just yesterday, we had a whale buy 5,000 more Bitcoin. So they bought a couple $100 million of Bitcoin at one time. We see this with a lot of different wallets. We also have BlackRock filing amendments with the SEC. A lot of these new applications are set up to be compliant with what the SEC wants. They're cash creation or cash create instead of in kind, which for us doesn't really matter too much at this point, but it's showing that they're really getting in the weeds, and a lot of these companies are willing to play ball with the SEC to give them exactly what they want. We also have news of Michael Saylor possibly talking to Jeff Bezos about Bitcoin over the weekend. I'll cover this more in a different video, so I don't want to cover it too much. But keep in mind, too, we have cuts coming next year, up to 3 cuts, 3 25 basis point cuts. And we are starting to get ads for the new ETFs. I mean, why would you make an ad about Bitcoin unless you plan on this ETF getting approved and then pushing people to it? So the question is then, where do we invest? Right? Keep in mind, most of my portfolio is in Bitcoin because I'm at a very important point in my investing journey where I don't necessarily need everything in my crypto portfolio to 40x to make life-changing money. Having Bitcoin 2, 3, 4x is life-changing money for me, but I still want some exposure to, I'd say, some more high alpha plays, some cryptos that I think will do really well. And today we're going to go through them. These are 5 different cryptos that I've been buying or looking at over the last month and a half, maybe 2 months now. Some of them I've been aggressively adding. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, I know some stuff that you don't. Just the stuff that I hear behind the scenes in crypto is, I think, helpful for some of these things. But a lot of people can get access to some of this information by watching YouTube channels. I'm actually setting up something with other people to probably get you some access to know what we know, like for us to spill some details. Be on the lookout for that. It's probably coming in the next week. It's going to be really big. But Alex Becker has talked about a lot of gaming cryptos. Some of these are ones that he covers. Some of them aren't. Keep in mind, though, I heard recently how much people are willing to pay Alex Becker. Obviously, I know that he's super successful. He doesn't really take promotion. He just sometimes invests in companies or becomes a strategic advisor for them. But the amount of money that's starting to float around is significant. And we're starting to see some excitement, but it's not like it was in the last bull run. I mean, he's getting 300, 400,000 views. In the last bull run, he was getting 1 million, sometimes more. So the first one on this list is one that he's talked about. A couple of these are ones that he's talked about. Jumping in on these just because he talks about them, I don't think is smart, because then if they have a dip, you'll probably sell. I've already seen some people freak out because gaming cryptos went down 2 or 3 days in a row. Now they're starting to pump back up. So don't just buy just because Alex Becker says, don't buy just because I say that I'm looking at them or buying them. You need to make sure that you feel comfortable. But if you are comfortable in one that big creators talk about, well, it's pretty much free promotion. If it does well, people are going to keep on covering it throughout the entire bull market. Now, also keep in mind that if for some reason Alex Becker becomes sour on some crypto that he talks about, well, it's probably going to fall down pretty fast. But the first one on this list is Seedify. If you haven't checked out Seedify, you're missing out, and this is why. They've just announced 6 incredible incubation projects to be launched in Q1 2024. The price of S-Fund stayed strong and is steadily going up despite the dip this weekend. Now, I've talked about Seedify a lot, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but they are a launchpad for crypto games. They have announced 6 different games for Q1 2024. If you think about the applications of crypto, maybe you think about payments, maybe you think about CBDCs, maybe you think about self-sovereignty, maybe you think about gaming and the fact that you can actually own in-game assets. All they have to do is have one game that hits mainstream, and Seedify will explode. So Seedify, if you want in on some of these different projects, if you want to get in on the launchpad, then you have to buy these Seedify tokens. Seedify is up 15%, 16% over the last one day. Everyone was freaking out because this weekend we had a dip. We were all the way at actually like 450 at one point, and then we fell down all the way down to 320. I mean, that's a big dip. That's a 20%, 25% dip. Now we're right back up at 3.9. As I've said for the last month, maybe couple months, dips are meant for buying. It's very normal to see dips in a bull market. I mean, take a look at this. If you had bought during the last bull market, let's go back here. You go up to $5 and then you go down to 37 cents and then you go back up and then you go down again. I mean, imagine we're here, right? You sell at 472 or you sell at 318 and then you miss out on this 5x. Now, I think we're actually in store for a much bigger jump than even last bull market because I think there's more money flowing in. I think there's already going to be more excitement. We're setting up so there's going to be more liquidity in the system. There's going to be lowering rates when the bull run happens. And I think people are just starting to get greedy again, which in one way is bad because you don't want to necessarily invest if you're feeling greedy. But also, it's good if other people are greedy because then they will ape into something like this. I mean, this did a 9x, 8x over the last couple months. Do I think this is over? No way. I think it's going to continue. I think it's going to have face-melting gains like a lot of these. Another one, blockchain bets. This was sitting right on the line of support at 0.041. Keep in mind, in the Patreon, I was talking about buying it all throughout here. I was buying it around 0.03. Now it had a nice little bump, just like they said. It bounced off of this line here and back at 0.046, which is a 13% day. Now, over the last month, this one's up a lot too. Blockchain bets is kind of like Rollbit. So you can play casino games, you can play sports betting. I was just in Vegas last week. Obviously, betting is huge. People get addicted. People love to bet on one specific thing over and over. Now, I'm not saying that people should get addicted. I don't really care what I invest in as long as it's not... We're here to make money, right? So if you want to invest in a gambling game, I think it's fine. If you want to invest in a crypto game, it's fine. This has 3,000 active users. If this is actually 3,000 daily users, that's massive. If it's not, it's okay still. Because when you compare this to something like Rollbit, it still looks really nice. And Rollbit is much larger, 500 million, and this is 40 million. So 1/12 the size. Now, a lot of people might look at this and say, well, you know, their circulating supply isn't quite 100%. It doesn't matter for a lot of these, right? It doesn't really matter what the total supply is, as long as there's not some huge dump soon. The fact is that in a bull run, the amount of dilution doesn't really affect us too much unless it's like over 20-30%, with which a lot of these gaming cryptos are, to be honest. But for some like this, where it's 90% already hitting the supply, 90% circulating, it doesn't matter. So blockchain bets is one that I'm looking at. I think it's undervalued compared to something like Rollbit. Keep in mind, they still have to grow because Rollbit's just bigger. They have more users, but it shows what they can grow into. Even if they just get up to Rollbit's market cap, that's a nice 12x during the bull run. And of course, Rollbit will grow as well. BCB has been updating as well. They say addition of provably fair. This ensures that every BCB original game is 100% fair. Every game can be checked for fairness via public seed. We have implemented it in the new addition to BCB Original and is coming to other games as well. New BCB Original game is live. UI and UX have been completed and have started working on implementation. VIP bonus, new payment gateway are already going to be deployed as well. So they continue to improve as well going into the next bull market. Now, the next crypto on this list is Dega. This is a very high risk, high reward play compared to a lot of the other cryptos on this list. It's got a very small market cap, 1.02 million, and the volume is low as well. And the price chart's actually wrong here. They told me that they actually went from a $267,000 market cap to a $3 million market cap, which is an 11x. It's a newer crypto. These are the cryptos that I'm paying attention to, like during the next, getting ready for the next bull run. Like, it's still low market cap, low volume. It's just available on PancakeSwap right now. Now, this is a partner of the channel, but I started talking about Seedify. I looked at Seedify because it was a partner of the channel. Now I'm up 3-4x from my initial buy-in. Like, this is the time to be looking at cryptos like this. Now, Dega specifically is trying to create an ecosystem that has play-to-win games and a trailblazing NFT marketplace represented and powered by the Dega token. Now, I should say too, they have a game already live called Degen Play. As people play the game, fees are generated, which is then injected back into their token. There's going to be a 25% revenue buyback starting December 15th, so a few days ago. Now, this first game, Degen Play, is basically connecting your wallet, and then you guess whether Bitcoin is going to go up or down over a certain time frame. Also, there's a second game that's 75% finished that will also provide a revenue share for NFT holders. 5% of all these fees generated by the ecosystem games will go back into the Dega token, again, to buy back. To access the revenue share, you have to own an NFT. So what happens is basically after someone buys an NFT, they take 25% of those funds to go buy the token and then send that to the owner of the NFT. And in the first raise from these NFTs, they were able to raise 616 BNB. So that's a substantial amount of money. So again, it's one of those things where if they can get one good game to work, the price could go up significantly. I'll put links to it underneath the video so you can find out some more information. Still, like I said, small community, but growing right now. So I'm paying attention to this one for the next bull run. You want to do your own research though, because this is one of those ones where it could do 100x. It could be risky because it is a newer crypto. So make sure you do your own due diligence on this. Now, Dega told me that they're actually 90% of the way done with their new game, not 75%. They just announced that to me. Now, the next crypto is PKR. These next two cryptos are very similar. Virtue Poker and Polker. All right. PKR and VPP. These are both smaller cryptocurrencies. I've been wondering whether I should even mention them, but they've done so well recently. I want to talk about them a bit. This is another one where people are talking about take your profits and run. We got trapped. This is a bull trap. Let me move myself here. Like, people got so scared because first of all, it is small. So I get getting a little bit worried when it falls down, thinking that maybe some whale was just buying and now they're dumping or something. But dips are meant for buying in a bull run. Both of these are very small market caps. I've mentioned them before. I've talked about them in my Patreon. Again, there's a link to that underneath the video. But both of them under 7 million in market cap. Now, one of these, maybe both, are going to be talked about by Alex Becker. He said that they were too small for him to talk about. He gets 10 times the views I get, so I think I'm okay. He talks about BCB, which is about 10 times the size of these two, and he's about getting 10 times the views that I get. So I'm okay with it. Now, I'm not telling you to go buy these. I'm not telling you to buy any of these here today. You have to do your own research. I will sell these at some point when other people are buying, and I'm not going to feel bad about it because I'm going to sell them when they're really frothy, right? So if we continue to move up like this, if we have another 400% move, I'll probably start taking profits. And the reason I say that is we're at a 400% move really in the last year, but in the last month, 9x move. So the gains on these are massive. I mean, these were very small cryptocurrencies even a month ago. So people are going to be taking profits, but also these are still small, right? These are mostly poker games, but online casino, betting games, NFTs, they have a couple things going for them, but they are still small. They still have a lot of market cap that they're going to dilute. They're both like 20% or so circulating. So keep in mind, these need to get more injections of liquidity to keep on moving up. But at this point, they seem pretty successful and they're very small still. So I'm investing some into these now, not as much as I am in BCB or Seedify. Of the 5 cryptos on this list, I own the most in Seedify. I bought in at $1.10. I started buying because I was going to work with them, and I did work with them, but I only started buying because I looked at their project because I worked with them. And after that, I was like, I need to buy a lot. I love this concept. I love this token for the next bull run. So then, not emotionally loving. I'm saying that I love the possibilities and I love the risk reward ratio. So I bought a significant amount and I kept on buying for a month plus. Now, you might be asking, am I buying now or is it too late? I don't think it's too late. Keep in mind, you should have been buying probably when I was talking about buying around $1.10. These other cryptos, I still think are earlier on, right? These other 4 compared to Seedify. Obviously, Seedify is a much larger market cap, but I have a pretty good allocation of Seedify now. So I'll probably continue to dollar cost average at opportune times. But at this point, it's grown to be a decent part of my portfolio since it's 3.5x since I started buying in. So I'll continue to look for opportune times to buy it, but I'm not piling money in as much into Seedify as I am into some other projects. Now, I talked about these 5 different cryptos. Keep in mind, I'm still earning money in Bitcoin. So I work with a handful of different companies, and I've been taking my payments in Bitcoin since Bitcoin was in the 20s. So I am happy to dollar cost average into some of these smaller gaming cryptos because those are my high risk bets, but I'm still getting paid more in Bitcoin than I'm investing in these smaller risk cryptos. To be fair too, I think this is a great time to be investing in these cryptos. Who knows whether Bitcoin dominance goes up or goes down, but we're not going to have forever to invest in these cryptos. Like I see them as, they went up 800%, some of them in the last month. I'm not getting FOMO by any means, but I want a dollar cost average before they have a blow off top or something. And before we get that next big run in crypto, if Bitcoin's at 52,000 or 50,000 by the end of the year, which is possible, I don't want to be sitting there watching gaming cryptos go up 200, 300% because this seems to be one of the best narratives. I've seen so many people get excited about gaming cryptos, even as L1s or other big cryptocurrencies aren't really moving. People are putting money into Bitcoin. People are putting money into gaming cryptos. Those are like the 2 biggest narratives, whether it's gaming or gambling. Those are the biggest narratives that I see right now in the market. People are paying attention to other things too, but that's where the money's flowing. That's where we're seeing massive moves already. So I'm going to ride this wave. I'm not telling you have to, but those are some of the best high reward, high risk cryptocurrencies that I see. And they could fall down 50, 60, 70%. We saw 30% moves over the last 3 or 4 days, and there's been really no bad news about the market. So keep in mind, if you're investing in this, you might want to keep some cash ready just in case we have another dip. Keep in mind that all this is happening, all these crazy returns, when it's not even the Bitcoin halving yet, we're actually like almost 6 months away. Usually we have 2 years of bull run. So even if you sold like 18 months from now, we have 18 months of cryptos going nuts, money flooding into the system, and people buying up cryptos. So I think these have a really bright future, even though they're up a couple 100% already. Of course, I can't see the future, but it's just crazy how early this is happening. And a lot of people will roll money into smaller cryptos once bigger cryptos have already pumped. And we're already seeing that happen. So I realize for some people, they might think this is really risky, and a lot of these are risky, but I think they have huge potential. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video, though. Thank you so much to Dega. You can check out their links as well underneath the video. You can check out Marjax, Blowfin, Patreon, all that. I'll see you in the next one.